Alrighty, good morning, Arkansas. This is Chief Forecaster Cameron back here once again here to give you guys a quick live stream here, kind of a mid-morning update on what's going to be happening as we move into this afternoon, into this evening here. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a different live stream, a little bit of a different Q&A here. You know, normally I go through all the graphics and all the other stuff here. We're going to wait till we get a good amount of people in. And then I'm going to let you guys slam the comments with any questions that you guys have. And we're going to try to knock them out as quickly as we can before things start getting very chaotic here. So first and foremost, I want to talk to you guys about this before we get started. There's a lot of anxiety across Arkansas naturally right now because, you know, last night we did a live stream. This was only supposed to be just a moderate risk across eastern Arkansas and everything like that. I tell you not. I woke up at 1 o'clock this morning, and the server that we have that alerts us whatever Storm Prediction Center puts a risk out said high risk, and I told Derek, I was like, that's got to be for flooding, right? And we looked, and it was actually the high risk for northeastern Arkansas, and now that said high risk has been expanded to include much of Arkansas here. So a couple of tips I want to go over before we dive into everything. I get the anxieties through the roof right now. Okay, this is just a heart-to-heart from me to the audience right now. I want you guys take a deep breath. We've got you guys here at Arkansas Weather Watchers. This is one of the biggest risks that I have professionally covered throughout my entire broadcast career. It is the biggest risk of the entire Arkansas Weather Watchers page history. We got started in 2014, and we haven't had a risk this big. I think maybe March 31st was probably the biggest one we've had. I think this one is a little higher than what the March 31st event was here. So prepare in advance. We've already talked about last night, knowing where to go, knowing where to take shelter and stuff like that. Having multiple warning sources here. We do an amazing job here at Arkansas Weather Watchers, but we're all human beings. It is going to be up to you guys to make sure that you have multiple ways to have warnings today, not just from us, but there's a lot of other sources that you can get warnings from as well. So the rule of thumb is making sure that you have at least 3 different ways to get warnings across the area here. Another thing, know where you are today. It is absolutely urgent that you know where you are today here. I'm talking counties, I'm talking cities. If you're planning on traveling, it is absolutely urgent that you know where you are today here. It is pretty much could be the difference between life and death today, especially my folks in eastern Arkansas. We're going to have radar updates. Obviously, we've had radar updates all morning long. We're actually going to talk about radar coming up in a little bit, and then learning about more storms and stuff like that. Obviously, that's something that we will talk about more once we get past today when we don't have a high risk. But yeah, this is just how you can prepare for something of this magnitude coming up as we move into this afternoon here. So let's take a look at current radar right now here. We got a few storms out there in western Arkansas. We had that line. That line looked ominous coming out of Oklahoma this morning. The unfortunate thing has happened here. That line has fell apart. If you are here in central Arkansas right now, I'm looking outside of our Skycam. It is just absolutely just blue skies right now across the board here. So as a matter of fact, let me double check and make sure that our Skycam is actually accurate right now. So I'm going to refresh this, and there it is. Okay, so I was making sure that was accurate. So that is our current Skycam right now in downtown Little Rock, and you can see there is a lot of blue skies in place right now. This is something that we do not want to see whatsoever. This is a situation that you do not want sunshine whatsoever, because it's just going to lead to more problems across the board here. And unfortunately, that's what we're seeing across much of the state right now. We're going to talk about satellite coming up here in just a little bit as well. But before we get into the questions, I want to kind of break down for our folks in northwestern Arkansas. We're keeping an eye on 2 cells over here, one just southwest of Fayetteville. Mainly right now is going to be for the potential of about 60-mile-per-hour winds and some small hail. This one here, severe warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds and upwards to 1.5-inch hail. That will be moving into the Fort Smith area at this current time here. But right now, I will say this is probably the worst case scenario for Arkansas, that we don't have a lot of cloud cover in place right now. We don't have a lot of rain or thunderstorms or anything that could prevent the heating from really getting going this afternoon. As a matter of fact, with us getting close to lunchtime, I think we may have a couple of hours of sunshine across the state. before storms really start to pop off as we move into the afternoon and into the evening here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the graphic system here. This is your overall risk. Across the state, we have that level 5 high risk. Like I said before, my professional career, this is the biggest risk that I've covered. We've got a level 5 from pretty much from Jonesboro, Blytheville, Walnut Ridge, all the way down to Camden. The level 4 surrounds that. That does include the metro, down towards Hot Springs, Arkadelphia, and El Dorado. Level 3 out in western Arkansas, and then northwestern Arkansas, the level 2 up there right now here. And this will not be the last time we deal with severe weather, by the way. We have tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, which Saturday now, by the way, is a level 3, which we'll dive more into that once we get past what could be a very long day for us here in Arkansas. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the timing map real quickly, and I'm going to leave the timing map up. I got a lot of graphics on here. I thought I had the timing map up. Let me get the timing map on here. And I'm going to leave that up, and then I'm going to answer questions because I think you guys need those questions answered right now. There's a lot of anxiety across the state right now, so we're going to just dive straight into that and try to knock out as many as possible here, okay? So also, you guys may hear it. It is absolutely windy outside right now. We're up here at our studios here, and you can hear the wind outside. It's been like that all morning long. That's your moisture and your instability flowing northward here in advance of this strong storm system coming our way here, okay? So I'll break down timing, and then I'm going to answer questions. Western Arkansas, this is pretty much ongoing right now. I think from now to 4 p.m. is going to be the time frame. I understand there's tornado watches in place already. That's until 4 o'clock. Folks, I'm going to stress, we do not control those watches or warnings. That is strictly the National Weather Service. We do not control that type of situation. Our folks in Central Arkansas, I've got you guys starting as early as 2. There's going to be a lot of variability with this. A lot of folks are going to start off at 4. Some are going to start at 2. We're all human at the end of the day. There's going to be some sort of human error here. So don't get upset or mad at us that it's 2 o'clock and it's not storming outside. That's just how it is. We can't control when exactly storms are going to pop up for your specific location. We can give you a broad timing on when to pay attention, but in terms of trying to figure out where storms are going to pop off at what second, we're not that good. We're not. I'm just going to be honest with you. Folks in Eastern Arkansas, this could be a very long evening for you guys. I know this is, I believe it's, what is today? Lord, Wednesday? Yeah. Let me double check on that. Yeah, today's Wednesday. Yeah, my days are mixed up right now. I know there's a lot of church events. I know there's a lot of outdoor events, especially later in the evening on a Wednesday. Anybody that's listening to this right now that has evening outdoor plans, I would postpone them immediately over there in Eastern Arkansas and in Central Arkansas as well. I know I'm getting a lot of information about school closings and all that other stuff. But any evening plans that you have, I would highly recommend that you postpone them this evening because it's just not going to end well across the area. Okay, so I'm gonna double check a couple of things here, make sure everything's good moderating wise, and I'm gonna answer some questions here. Okay, so let me see. I've got one. There was one on the post itself. It was like from Ava. She said, "Does anyone in the team have a list of potential community shelters?" I think someone has that list. If y'all can get that in the comments, that'd be awesome. Also, give a quick look at tornado shelter systems. They will help you guys out if you need an above ground or an underground shelter. Let me see here. Okay, so all right. So let me see here. I think that's pretty much okay. That's it from on the Discord side of things here. So I'll answer some questions on here. I'm gonna just go ahead and go here. So I have a question from Fulton County. How is it looking, and what is your predictions for Fulton County up there in North Arkansas? I understand there's a lot of storm is a lot of people that are storm weary up there because obviously you just got through dealing with an outbreak March 14th, then you have one on Sunday up there in northeastern Arkansas. Now you're dealing with another threat today, and I'm gonna be real with you. There's another threat as we move into your Friday time frame as well. Best thing I will tell anybody that's asking the specific county questions is just have a plan ready to go for today. We're not good enough to be like, hey, this storm is going to pop up at this specific time or second, stuff like that. What I would tell you is if there's a warning, you need to be ready to go. You need to have that game plan ready to go, know where to go when a tornado warning happens, even a severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, guys, because some of these severe thunderstorm warnings will have what's called that tornado possible tag. So just make sure that you're staying weather aware today. That's the biggest thing. And in terms of the tornado threat, I think this is probably one of the most widespread tornado events that I've covered in the last 10 years I've been doing this. Same could be applied for the rest of our team. So I will just leave it with that. That's the biggest thing, because those that are going to be coming in asking, about certain counties, just have a plan ready to go for today here. I know I have timing up right now, but I can talk about that tornado risk real closely here. Let me go over to our graphic system here. There we go. So yeah, this is your tornado threat for today. And like I said, this is probably one of the most expansive tornado risks that I've professionally covered over the last 10 years here for our folks in Eastern Arkansas. Now, obviously, there's been some worse situations. You go back in recent history. You've had the 2023 event. You've had one in 2008, 2011. There's some that are probably bigger than this, but we've been doing this since 2014, and this is the highest one that I've covered so far for the page here. Okay, so I got a lot of questions about the tornado watch here in Faulkner County. Will it be extended past 4 o'clock? Yes, I want to stress this, folks. We do not control those watches. We don't control those. That's strictly the National Weather Service. I love y'all to death. I'm glad y'all think that we do. That means a lot, but we don't. That is National Weather Service in Little Rock, Memphis, Shreveport. Those guys, they're the ones that control the watches across the state. So it's not up to us to be like, hey, when they're going to extend those watches. But I do fully anticipate for them to extend those watches out, especially for our folks in Eastern Arkansas. Right now, I know there's a tornado watch in Western Arkansas. That's because you're going to start having supercells develop over the next couple of hours out there. They will trend to the east, and then there will be a new watch that will get issued for our folks in Eastern Arkansas. And I think more than likely with them going high risk, this should be what's called a PDS, or a particularly dangerous situation tornado watch. That means that it's just, you have your basic tornado watch, then you have the PDS, which is another level above your regular one. So that's just that. I hope that answered your question, Jennifer, here. Yes, they will extend those watches, and it just depends on where we are by the time we get into the afternoon hours here. Okay, so all right, Alyssa, I've seen your comments on our post. I'm gonna stress the confusion here. Okay, the overall risk. There's a difference between the tornado threat and the overall, folks. There is a difference between the two. Severe weather is not just tornadoes. That's just how it is. That's just how it's going to be. Severe weather includes hail, wind, tornadoes, and flooding. There's a difference. If you go on SPC's website, there's a difference between the overall risk and then your tornado threat. Your tornado threat is broken down into levels. You have your certain levels on how we do our tornado threat here on the page, but then you have your overall risk. That's your wind, that's your hail. You see the exact same thing if you go to Storm Prediction Center's website. They have it similar, kind of broken down to how we have it here. So it is an overall level 5 high risk for us here in Arkansas, but the tornado threat is centered at a level 4 because it's a 30%. It goes like this. Level 1 is 2 to 5%. Level 2 is 10%. Level 3 is 15. Level 4 is 30. And then level 5, which you don't get a lot, is a 45% or greater for tornado threat. Right now, you can get a level 5 high risk from a 30% tornado risk. I know it's confusing. It's confusing to kind of explain, but there's a difference. If you go on Storm Prediction Center's website, you read along, there's a difference between the overall risk and the tornado risk at this current time here. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. I'm just gonna go over to the timing because I think it's just. I'm gonna put it with this. I think this map, this significant tornado risk, will answer a lot of questions, and it will just solve a lot of the confusion right now. Folks, anywhere in this area here, I don't want people prioritizing the higher risk over the other. We have the same situation every single time we have a big event like this. Don't prioritize the big risk, guys, okay? I think this graphic will just sum all of it up. If you are in this zone, you are in a significant tornado risk for today here. We're not going to worry about level 3s or level 4s or anything like that. We're just not going to worry about it because it causes a lot of confusion in the public. We're just going to simplify it like this. If you are in this significant tornado risk, there you go. You need to have a game plan ready to go. My folks in Western Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, your tornado threat is lower, but it's not zero. My folks in Mena, Waldron, Fort Smith, Harrison, and Fayetteville, this is going to be, you're going to have to watch very close. That's where the initiation is going to be. You still have a tornado threat out there, but your significant tornado threat is going to be in this generalized area for today. I think that's just going to, I'm just going to use this going forward because I think it's just going to solve a lot of the confusion here. But if you go on Storm Prediction Center's website, that's how it's broken down. They have an overall risk, and then they have the tornado, the wind, and the hail all broken down on their website here, okay? So just keep that in mind. I'm trying to lessen the confusion as much as possible here, but folks, y'all are just gonna have to meet me halfway with these graphics, okay? This is pretty much the biggest threat right in here, right in this zone, in this area. This is where you're gonna have that tornado risk for today. As a matter of fact, I'll just be blunt with you guys. The entire 75 counties of Arkansas needs to have a way to have a way to get into a shelter or anything like that today, because it's not going to matter where the risk is, who's in the path, stuff like that. It's not going to matter. Folks, storms do not care about risk areas. I want to make that clear. They don't care about if you're in a moderate or you're in enhanced or you're in high risk. They don't care. You can get a tornado in a marginal risk or a slight risk or anything like that. They don't care about risk areas or colors or anything like that. They just care about where your environment is capable of doing it, and that's what happens. So have a plan ready to go today. That's the biggest thing I'm stressing right now. Have a plan that is going to be in your hands today, guys. In your hands, Arkansas, to have a plan ready to go. We've been through this situation before. This is not the first time we've had severe weather here in Arkansas. You've got to know where to go. You have to. That's just how it is when you live here in Arkansas. You've got to know where to go here, okay? So, yes, I love this comment from Charlie. There's always a decent risk that things will bust. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Hang on. Okay, all right, we're good. So there's also a decent chance that things will bust. If it does, don't come at them. If a storm fires in your area, just be aware. I love that comment. Folks, as high as the risk is today, there's always that potential that, the tornado risk may not materialize, or something may happen to keep things from really getting up in the atmosphere, or something strange may happen today to keep this threat from not performing to where we're thinking it's going to. It is absolutely no reason to be rude to our team or anywhere else in the state or any meteorologist in the state, because we're all forecasting pretty much the exact same thing. So if you get upset that you don't see severe weather today, you need to get your life priorities in check. That's just how it is, because severe weather is a threat to life and property, and it should be absolutely no reason someone should get upset today because they don't see a tornado or they don't see severe weather or something like that. You need to get your life priorities in check if you get upset about severe weather for today here. The biggest thing is we are all hoping for a bust. We're hoping that something comes along and screws this entire risk and stuff like that. But unfortunately, the environment that we're going to have in place today will be capable of producing some significant severe weather, which will include the significant tornado threat here, okay? So I'm going to go back over to the timing. Actually, you know what? Before I go into timing, I'm going to leave this up, because there's a lot of people that have either moved, just moved here to Arkansas, or absolutely have no idea what to do when there's a tornado. We're going to go over this real quick. First and foremost, tornado warning happens if you are a parent and tornado warning happens at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've already had school districts warn people about this. I'm going to be one of those guys that echoes this message. Do not attempt to try to get your kid out of school today. Don't do it. I get it. I know. I understand. From a parent standpoint, I understand. But do not attempt to try to get your kid out of school today if a tornado warning happens at 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Where the kid is, where they are in that school building, they are in a safe place in that school building. All the school districts across the state have gone over the tornado safety protocols. They've gone over tornado drills. They have policies in place for a situation to where if a tornado warning happens, they take those drills and they get to shelter, safety and stuff like that. Do not attempt to get your kid out of school if a tornado warning happens. If that happens, your life comes first. You've got your safety comes first. Rest assured that your kid is in the most safest place possible in that school building. Do not try to go out and get your kid out of school. I'm repeating this because somebody's going to try to do it today. They have already warned that the doors are going to be locked and stuff like that. Do not do it, okay? So I'm making that crystal clear. When you take shelter, if you're driving, you find a gas station, a grocery store, a restaurant, I would say, unfortunately, with this being during the day, there's a fortunate part to this, is that a lot of the businesses and stuff like that will be open since it's during the day instead of it being an overnight event. So you have a lot more opportunities to go to a safe place, like a gas station or a grocery store or a restaurant or something like that today. If you are at home, what you want to do is you want to get to that center lowest part. If you have a storm cellar or shelter, that's priority number one. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. Get into a basement or get into that center part of your home. That could be a hallway, closet, bathroom, etc. As long as it doesn't have windows, that's where you want to go. And that could be a kid's room as well, as long as they don't have windows or exterior walls. But you want to get to the lowest center part if you are in a situation where you have a tornado warning today. But I'm making this crystal clear that do not attempt to try to go get your kids out of school here. And I know there's a lot of schools that are releasing early. If they're releasing early, then that's a different situation. But if they're continually all the way through like normal, and a tornado warning happens, they are going to shut everything down and hunker those kids down in school. So I want to make that clear at this point. But your safety comes first today, Arkansas. We are putting this in your hands today. We are going to provide warnings. We're going to be here for live coverage and everything like that. But in terms of you figuring out where to take shelter and where to go when a tornado warning happens is on you today, guys. That is 100% how it's going to be across the board. So let me double check Discord real quick. And right now, just keeping an eye on a couple of things here. I'm just making sure we're not seeing any questions. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so let me go over here. And I know there's, I've seen a couple comments about Reed. Apparently, I don't know if is he in Little Rock or is he in Mount Home? I've heard two different sides of that coin. But yeah, he is here in Arkansas for a particular reason. Obviously, there's a high risk. But yeah, I've heard he's either here in Little Rock or he's here in Mountain Home. Let me see here. Kim, a moderator manager, do not seek shelter under a bridge. It is not safe and will become a wind tunnel. I love that comment. I worry today about people's safety and making sure that everybody knows where to go when a tornado warning happens, guys. I understand the anxiety. I understand that everybody's just anxious right now and everything like that. Do not be rude to anybody today. Don't be an a-hole to people today because everybody is leaning on each other, especially in a situation like this. Don't do it. Be nice. Everybody needs to come together as one in this community today. It just needs to happen. Somebody gets hit, don't be like, oh, well, it's not me, I'm not worried about it. You go and try to save somebody's life today because you never know when somebody may return that favor to you. So everybody needs to work as one today, as a community, as a state, as a whole, not trying to prioritize one person over another. And we got this. We will be able to get through this, guys. And like I said, unfortunately, this is not going to be the last time we have severe weather. We've got a risk tomorrow. We've got a risk on Friday. We've got a risk on Saturday. And then eventually the cold front pushes through on Saturday and wipes this entire severe weather episode out of the air here, okay? So let me see here. If you are in an apartment or a townhome, is it best to seek shelter? I know most cases, it just depends on the apartment. I know most cases you can either get, downstairs. I don't know how your apartment situation is. Every apartment is different. But the biggest thing is you want to get to as low as possible. And you want to, while you're doing that, by the way, you want to get a mattress, you want to get a helmet, something to kind of protect yourself whenever you are in that situation. In an unfortunate situation, if a tornado's on the ground, it's headed right towards you and stuff like that. You want to grab a mattress, kind of prep yourself right now. And like I said, I hate how clear it is right outside right now. Because it just leads to more heating and moisture and everything like that. But with it being calm right now, it gives you more time to prep. So go ahead and get those things preparated right now. Go ahead and get a mattress, get your helmet or something like that. Get your safe place ready to go. That way, when a warning does happen, you're not scrambling trying to get everything in place. You could just go there. You're already there. You got your phone. You're listening to us, and then you're graving at that point. So yeah, I love it. Don't be an a-hole. Yeah, I can't say it on there, guys, because Facebook will shut this down in a heartbeat. But you get the message with that. So yeah, today is just it's not today to mess around. It's just everybody needs to come as one today. And I think if we're gonna get through the situation like this, we're gonna be relying on our emergency managers to come as one. We're gonna be relying on everybody to help each other. That is the biggest way we're going to combat this high-end severe weather threat as we move into the day here. Now, I've had a lot of questions about two things. Number one, is the high risk going to shift towards the metro? Right now, I think the high risk is in a very good area. I'll be honest with you. I was not expecting this to go high risk. This was a really good, I was content with this being a really good moderate, but we don't control what SPC does. So they decided to go high risk. We just echoed the message that they have. Right now, it's a wait and see. I think it gets a little bit closer, but the problem you're going to have is what kind of storm mode and what kind of development are you going to have once this activity develops out in West Arkansas. If it's all supercells, and I can see it being shifted a little bit further to the west, if it's a line of storms, then I think the best shot would probably be in eastern Arkansas for that strong, violent tornado threat. But it's a gray zone right now in this area here because you're kind of caught between the two. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. And I said, not trying to take anything away from the day, but unfortunately, tomorrow's uptrending, Friday's uptrending. So this is probably not going to be the last time we have a high-end severe weather threat over the next couple of days here. Okay, so Andy, quick shout out Cam Williams. I had a conversation with him last night about the HRR. It has not been performing well at all. It has been changing so much over the last couple of hours. It's just not really a good model to lean on right now. We're just kind of looking at radar and seeing how things are progressing. But right now, it's not doing good. I would give it probably a 20 or 30% accuracy rate right now with the HRR. Now, obviously, where it being right now, you're just watching radar. You're doing what's called nowcast situation. But for those that are wondering what the HRR is, it's a weather model. I'm talking to a weather enthusiast here. But yeah, it's not doing well whatsoever right now across the board. Okay, so let me see. I love Anna's comment. One way to help is to share our live streams. Folks, I'm probably going to be on here till, I'll call it 11:30. I want to see the next update from Storm Prediction Center. So this is going to be kind of like a chill question Q&A, answering questions, trying to give everybody as much heads up as physically possible. But I think I'm going to stay until 11:30 to see what they end up doing with that high risk and see if they end up shifting it to the west or anything like that. So this is the time right now. I'm going to go back over to radar for just a little bit. We got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings out here in western Arkansas. We got one near Fayetteville. I'm going to keep an eye on a couple of these storms here. The environment will start to become a lot more favorable for severe weather here. It's not. We'll watch it very closely. Right now, what we have in place is what's called a cap or a lid. So some of these storms are going to try to rotate. But right now, we're going to keep an eye on this up for our folks up here in northwestern Arkansas. Got a severe thunderstorm warning, and then we've got one down here near Fort Smith, mainly going to be for the potential of 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size cell. But I'm noticing a couple of these cells are trying to get going here, and you can already see where these storms are starting to show what we call that supercell structure. That's what we're going to have to watch as we move into the next couple of hours, especially for our folks over here in western Arkansas. So I'm going to go back over to our graphic system real quickly here, and I'm going to go back over to timing. I'm going to leave it with the timing map right now here, okay? So, no flip-flops, just get important documents together, keep phones charged. Hunter, it's going to be coming out at about 11:30 this morning here, so sorry, I'm trying to stay hydrated as well because I know this is probably not going to be the last time I do a live stream today over the next couple of days here. So if you see me just trying to drink water every 5 seconds, don't mind me. For those wondering, the clear and calm before the storm is due to the warm, moist air that fuels the storm that's pulling in, creating a low pressure, stabilizing the surrounding air with warm, dry air that falls from the storm. I love that analysis. Yeah, it's been pretty much what's going on right now. Storms are trying to trying to break the cap. They can't do it. They're falling apart. But eventually that cap will break. And when it does, that's where storms are going to start to take off here. That's why I'm urging caution with the HRR, because a couple of things that the HRR is not picking on, it's trying to develop everything into a line where I think today may be more of a supercell threat versus a line of storms here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that here, okay? So what would be best if you take shelter in an underground parking deck? That is a really, really good question. I've never really heard of a situation like that if you take shelter under a parking deck. One of my guys, I've got a lot of people that are, that work for emergency management, stuff like that. If y'all can take care of that one, I personally have no experience with that because I've never really done that before, but we've got people on the team that know what to do in that situation. So somebody, if y'all can get that question, that would be awesome here. So now I will say this. Hannah, we do not do Torcons here in Arkansas Weather Watchers. We don't. That is a Weather Channel exclusive product. We don't do that here because, number one, it leads to a lot of confusion. I hate using that product to begin with. It leads to a lot of confusion in the public. And then two, like I said, that's not our product. That's the Weather Channels here. So I can't explain it to you. I don't keep up with that kind of stuff. As though it's not a hit to them or anything like that. I just know that's their exclusive product. I have no idea what they use for their ratings and stuff like that, because we don't do that here with us here at Arkansas Weather Watchers here. So thoughts on southeastern Arkansas, Ryan? It could be a famine or, what's the word? What's the phrase for that? It's famine or feast? I think it's like that or something. I've heard somebody say that before for over there in southeast Arkansas. Pretty much what that means is what type of storm mode are you dealing with by the time it gets to southeastern Arkansas? Is it a line of storms where you're just dealing with a embedded tornado threat, or it's a living hell where you have supercells coming out from Louisiana and impacting much of southeastern Arkansas? Well, that is something that we're going to be keeping an eye on, and we won't be able to determine until game time, until we're in that situation here. So I would say, Ryan, make sure you have a plan ready to go if you're planning on traveling. What I would do for anyone that's traveling, kind of scout where you're going, your route. Pinpoint gas stations, grocery stores, restaurants, anywhere that's open, it's a sturdy building. I would pinpoint those areas and be like, hey, I'm going to be traveling this way. And if there's a situation where, there's a tornado warning, I know where to pull off and stuff like that. I would be doing that today if you plan on traveling. If not, just making sure that you have that safe place ready to go for our folks in southeastern Arkansas here. So no, things have not been downgraded. I'm getting away from those graphics because it's just going to lead to a lot of confusion today. So we're going to make everything as simple as possible. And we're just going to put it this way. The entire state of Arkansas, except for, I think, northwestern Arkansas, is in that significant tornado risk here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do this. If y'all can stand by for just a little bit, I'm going to get rid of those other graphics because it's leading to a lot of confusion. And today is a day that you do not need to be confused. I'm stressing that right now. Let me go back over here real quick. So I'm going to go over to this graph. This graphic just pretty much sums up everything that you need to know. This is your significant tornado threat for today. Okay, I'm not even going to post the levels over the next couple of days because it's just leading to a lot of confusion, folks. This is the biggest threat for today here. If you're in this red zone from Mount Home, Jasper, all the way down to Texarkana to Lake Village, up towards Helena, West Helena, and the Blytheville area, this is where that significant tornado risk is going to be. Okay. Regardless if you're in a high risk, in a moderate risk, or an enhanced or something like that, this is where it's going to be today in this particular area here. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to get rid of that other tornado graphic because it's just leading to a ton of confusion. And today is a day that everybody needs to be focused, level-headed. That's how you're going to stay safe today. That's how, and knowing the information beforehand, that's how you're going to stay safe today, especially in a situation like this. So, I'm going back in the comments here. It's feast or famine. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Feast or famine. That's what it is. I've heard somebody say that before, and I was trying to figure out that phrase. Thank you. Yeah, that pretty much explains how southeastern Eastern Arkansas is going to be. Is it going to be a line of storms, or is it going to be a supercell mess over there in southeastern Arkansas for today here? So yeah, thank you so much for that. I don't mind if y'all correct me in the comments here. I promise. So Liz has a good point here. Is the straight line storms better than the individual storms here? It is a double-edged sword. Now, when you deal with a straight line wind threat, a straight line, pretty much straight line wind threat, your wind threat increases, your tornado threat starts to go down here. But severe weather, it's not just tornadoes, remember. So you're gonna have that damaging wind threat to kind of compensate for the tornado threat. This ends up being a straight line event. Now, I want to urge caution with that. The HRR, a lot of people are sharing the HRR right now that has that massive line of storms. I don't trust the HRR right now. There's a reason why I'm not showing it on air, because it's been doing horrible. Like, if you've chased out Oklahoma, or you've been living in Oklahoma, if you would have went to HRR yesterday, it had a tornado outbreak out there last night and nothing happened. So I'm not trusting the HRR right now. But I would say, for our sake, a straight line of storms would be better. You'd still deal with severe weather. You still deal with the tornado threat regardless. But I would say it would be better if it was a straight line wind threat versus supercells, because the supercell threat, you maximize your tornado threat because they're able to stay apart from each other, and they're able to tap into more of the environment without having to compete along a line. So we'll just have to see at this point here. But yeah, Brian, the models has done horrible over the last couple of the events here, especially with this particular event. So that's why I really haven't used, we don't use model data 100% here to begin with. We use our expertise, our experience, and we just use model data as like a guidance tool. But today just kind of furthers the point that you should never use model data as 100% like, hey, this is going to happen. So let me see here to get more information and timing. So we're going to have all the information on the page. We've had that all morning long. I'm going to go back over to the timing map real quickly here. So, before I go back to the time map, I'm going to pull this graphic up here because there's been a lot of debate, especially for my folks in the Garland County area, Southwest Arkansas and Central. There was a lot of research that went into this map, by the way. We didn't just like throw it out there and whatnot. We asked around. Like, I asked around everywhere, and every person I talked to about that area said it was Southwest Arkansas. That's how it's always been. I said before, I almost put it as Central. It is a gray zone. It could be considered both, either Southwest Arkansas or Central Arkansas. But like I said, we asked around with this particular graphic here, and that's the answer we got. That's why we included it in Southwest Arkansas. But knowing your counties, knowing the sections that you're in Northwest or Central or Southwest or Southeast or Northeast or North Central, is going to be very crucial today, okay? I don't want people arguing over little petty stuff like this, guys. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's knowing your counties, knowing where you are, and being ready to seek shelter at any given moment here, okay? So I'm hearing that Reed is in Little Rock. He just posted a video 8 minutes ago. I'm not surprised. He typically targets the highest risk, and obviously Little Rock East would be the best target. So that doesn't surprise me. And good to see you. Good to see you, Natural State Transparency here. Hope you're doing well. Let me see here. Y'all know where you live before this takes off. Know your counties, if multiple tornado warnings, stuff like that. Oh, speaking of which, thank you, Cheryl, for bringing that up. When we have tornado warning coverage, guys, okay, I've already instructed my moderator team about this. I'm going to tell you guys straightforward. We will not be answering specific questions when it comes to the tornado warning coverage. It just will not happen. If that's something that makes you mad, this is not the page for you. I'm just going to make that clear. I've already instructed our moderator team to block whoever gets out of line, whoever's rude, stuff like that. We're not playing childish games today, guys. Okay, this is a serious situation. This could be a very life-changing situation today. We need to be adults. We need to come together as a community, as a state, and we need to help each other today. Okay, no bickering, no fighting, no political stuff, none of that today. Today is about saving lives and being ahead of the storm. That's how we're going to tackle this event. So this is my one and only warning to anybody that's watching this right now that's going to try to get out of line later on. It's not gonna fly here. It's not. This is a no-fly zone. If you get out of line, it's an instant block. That's how it is. That's just how it's gonna be. Because our team is not gonna have time to deal with people trying to, time people out, stuff like that. It is gonna be a block and go. So behave, be respectful to not just us, everybody else around you. Because everybody else around you is just as stressed out as you are. So that's going to be the biggest thing today. Everybody needs to come together as one. If that means everybody's answering questions for somebody else, that is perfectly fine. If you want to help out, you take it by all means. You take the reins, you go from there. But this is how it's gonna be today. That's how it's gonna be. And yes, Tabitha, that is a football statement. No fly zone in defense. That's how it's going to be today here, guys. Okay, so. Let me see here. Let's see, Jonesboro here out there in northeastern Arkansas. Really over this. Please stop. That was a bust and getting mad. Yeah, Elizabeth, I don't know why people get upset when there's severe weather and it didn't happen. I understand if it's winter weather. I do. I get it. If it's winter weather and you don't get snow, I'd be a hypocrite. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't tell you that I don't get upset when we don't get snow in the winter because it takes so much to forecast it and then it busts and they're just like, man, I'm just like wanting to throw a computer right now whenever we don't get snow and it busts. But when it comes to severe weather, it's life-threatening. It's life-threatening. It can change somebody's life. It causes destruction, loss of property, and stuff like that. There should be absolutely no reason why somebody gets upset with severe weather. Winter weather is a different story because you can prepare for it more. There are certain situations with winter weather that can be life-threatening, but most times if it's just heavy snow, you can prepare for it, stuff like that. Tornadoes and severe weather, it's so hard to prepare for because it's so unpredictable that there should just be no reason why somebody gets upset when it comes to severe weather here, okay? So not a question here, just wanted to say that you have a very important job and thank you for doing it. Thank you, Emily, for the compliment. It really means a lot. It's not just myself. I have an entire team behind me. Guys, if I was doing this alone, I would probably be, my hairline would probably be where LeBron James' hairline is right now. So, I have an entire team behind me that helps out with the questions and all the other stuff here at this time here, okay? So, just kind of keeping an eye on radar right now here. I see that one up there in northern Arkansas that is toward Pulse. We're going to talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. I see it. It's just near Eureka Springs, so I'm going to go back over to radar real quickly here. This storm is moving out of Arkansas, by the way. This is fixing to get ready to cross out of Arkansas and go into Missouri. I will put a track up on this real quickly here. Anybody in this area, make sure that you're taking your tornado precautions immediately, just in case. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. We're going to keep an eye on the storm. It is moving into Missouri. So if you know anybody that lives along the Arkansas-Missouri border, make sure that they're taking your tornado precautions as well, because there's actually another warning that's extended into Missouri, actually, and it's thunderstorm threat considerable. So we'll keep an eye on this storm right in here. I'm going to go ahead and put a track on this. I'm pretty sure my phone has been blown up about people warning me about this storm up here. So let's go ahead and put a track. Give me just 1 second. It's going to be over here. Oh, there you are. Okay. So right over here, and we're going to do this. There's going to be a track. I'm going to put it about 40 miles per hour. So Eureka Springs, it's going to be coming at you within the next, I would say, that's going to be 13 minutes from now. And then Holiday Island is going to be coming at you around 11:26. So I'm going to leave this up just in case this does go to a warn. Obviously, we're already in coverage. Everybody's here already. So we'll keep an eye on a couple of things here. But yeah, something that we'll continue to keep an eye on up here in northern Arkansas. That's going to be your track. I'm going to go ahead and zoom this down and kind of leave this track up. This is going to be for our folks up here in northern Arkansas. So Eureka Springs, Holiday Island, if you know anyone in these areas, make sure this is a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. Go ahead and get that safe place ready to go just in case this thing does go tornado warned up here in northern Arkansas, northwestern Arkansas. This will go into Missouri, by the way, so if you know anyone that lives on the other side of the Arkansas-Missouri border, I know we're Arkansas weather watchers, but we're gonna help our surrounding states as well, because it's not just here in Arkansas that's under the risk. Our surrounding areas, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, those areas are the same under the gun as us. So if you know anyone that lives on the other side of the Arkansas-Missouri border, give them a heads up. Tell them what's going on and everything like that here, okay? So, yeah, I keep hearing people say that parameters are maxed out for today for tornadoes here. So what does that mean? Basically, what that means is your environment is kind of how it was March 14th. I told you guys this on March 14th that any storm that got going and matured and went severe warning was going to be capable of producing significant tornadoes. You're taking that environment and you're pretty much putting it in an oven for 15 minutes, 350 degrees. It's going to be another higher level than it was with March 14th. So that's what you're hearing all across social media, that the parameters are maxed out, stuff like that. That's why we have that level 5 high risk across eastern Arkansas is because of that potential. So any storm that goes up, matures, becomes severe, will carry that significant tornado hazard, especially for our folks in central and eastern Arkansas for today. I would show those graphics, but we've got a severe thunderstorm warning tornado possible right now here, so I'm prioritizing this over all the other graphics right now because if this goes tour warning, we need to obviously cover this. That's going to be for our folks up here in Eureka Springs, Holiday Island, and stuff like that here, okay? So I'm going to continue to kind of keep an eye on this, but right now the storm is moving into southwest Arkansas and into Missouri here at this current time here. And I'm answering questions while we're keeping an eye on this, okay? So sun is out in Benton County. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like it is starting to hook. I worry, I don't know about here in Arkansas, but I do worry that once this gets to Missouri, this may become a problem. So anybody in Missouri, give them a heads up, tell them what's going on and everything like that here, okay? So let me see here. I've been here 11 years. I've seen it twice, 2014 and 2023. I will say this about tomorrow's setup. Tomorrow's setup does concern me because you have whatever happens from today is going to leave a boundary. What happens with said boundary? Does it stay in place? Does it move north? That's something that we're going to have to watch very closely. A similar setup happened, the Mayflower to Valonia tornado happened before, where you had a boundary in place across central Arkansas, you had high risk in southwest Arkansas, then you had that one cell that tracked up and moved along I-30, obviously hit Mayflower and Valonia and stuff like that. Tomorrow's setup eerily reminds me of that. Not saying it's going to happen, but it just eerily reminds me of that setup here. So tomorrow needs to have the same level of awareness that today does. And I know it's going to get exhausting. It's exhausting for me talking about severe weather over and over and over and over again, but that's just how it is whenever you're in one of these active patterns in this time of year, okay? So I would say, Ethan, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to get another drink of water real quick. Hang on. Okay. So I would say, Ethan, this is, I don't want to say it's going to be March 31st. I think this may be a little bit, the environment with this one may be just a touch bit higher than it was with March 31st because you don't have you don't have a significant cap in place. The cap's going to erode. You're going to have a lot more widespread activity here. So you notice with the high risk, March 31st, it was more of a kind of a localized high risk across eastern Arkansas. This was a lot more expansive than it was with March 31st here. So not trying to freak anybody out or anything like that, but I will say that your environment, when you try to compare the two, may be just a touch bit higher today than it was with that event here across Arkansas. So yeah, folks, I want to stress this. We do not use Torcon. That is a Weather Channel product. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what they use for their ratings. I don't keep up with that stuff. I don't work for the Weather Channel. So I don't do it. And it confuses people as well. It confuses the general public. I have no idea what they use over there whatsoever. I don't work for the Weather Channel, so I don't know how they use their stuff over there. It's not a bashing or anything like that towards them. I don't generally know. I don't know what they use for their Torcon scale. So that's just that. I don't keep up with that stuff. So let me see here. Yeah, the whole state has a all hazard threat tonight. Stay weather aware and prepared no matter where you are in the state. Very good question, Kim. I will say this, guys. This is the time right now to ask questions. We're just kind of in a chill mode right now, everybody. For those that are tuning in, this is the time right now, if you're on Facebook or on YouTube, to ask those questions. I'm trying to get to as many as possible here, but obviously you've got a million of them coming in at once. So forgive me if I don't get to your question. I will say this, looking at the Skycam that's under me, by the way, I am very concerned about our area. Look at how much clearing you've got right now. Sun's out, temperatures 82 degrees, by the way. And it's almost lunch. You don't really have a lot going on. I think this is going to be more of a supercell threat today than it is a line of storms here, okay? So how long is this expected to last? This is going to last all the way to about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning tonight. And then we will pick things back up tomorrow afternoon. The flooding threat will start to become a problem, especially late tonight into tomorrow and into Friday and into Saturday. We will break down all those other risks once we get past today here, guys, because I don't want to confuse everybody right now. I want everybody to just kind of focus on what's going on for today, taking it one day at a time here, okay? So, yeah, pretty much the calm before the storm. That's pretty much how it is. Does it help that the radar shows a line of storms as opposed to a supercell threat here? Now, I will say this. Give me just 1 second. I'm having to just kind of make sure that everything's good on my phone here, okay? So, hang on 1 second. All right, hang on 1 second. Okay, all right. So, all right, so right now, we're just kind of sitting here. What I would say for your particular question is yes and no. Yes and no in terms of the line storms versus the supercell threat. I don't want people ignoring the hail and wind threat, guys. Okay, severe weather is not just tornadoes. It's not. Severe weather is wind, hail, lightning, flooding. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just tornadoes here. So would it help the tornado threat? Sure. But you would still deal with a damaging wind threat, and you would still deal with a tornado threat regardless if this is a line of storms or supercells. My money is going to be that it is going to be a supercell threat today versus a line of storms. Because if this was going to be a line of storms, your line would have already developed and it would have already been marching east by now. We don't have that. We have supercells that are ongoing right now across western Arkansas here. I've had a lot of people ask about this, okay? I want to make this crystal clear. It should not matter if Little Rock gets issued in a level. Little Rock's already in a level 4, by the way. I think you mean in a level 5. It doesn't matter, folks. Levels do not matter today. If you are in Arkansas, you need to have a plan ready to go. That's just going to be the bottom line. That's how it is. Because folks will see that level 5, they'll be like, okay, I'm out of level 5, I'm not worried about it, and then they have a tornado warning. Folks, you got to have a plan ready to go today, regardless of where you are across the state. Let's see, yes, we do, and it's on the page. I'm going to have a note update coming up in a little bit. However, we have a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, and I feel like this needs to be prioritized more than a timing map right now. So we will get to timing coming up in a little bit, but I'm letting this storm get out of Arkansas because if this goes toward warm, we're going straight into tornado warning coverage. So we're gonna keep an eye on the storm here. Once this gets out of the way, we'll go back over to the timing map. But right now, we're just kind of hanging tight right now here, okay? So if you do get under severe thunderstorm warning today with a damaging wind threat, do treat it like a tornado warning. Move to your shelter. Love that comment from Anna, one of our moderators here. So wondering the same thing. I don't know what, I think you may be replying to somebody. Wondering the same thing about under the stairs rooms, like space. I'll have to follow up with that. One of my guys may have to follow up with that. I'm not sure what that particular question was here. So what if our house is surrounded by trees? Now, excuse me. Fortunately for us here in Arkansas today, fortunately and unfortunately, it's kind of your perspective on this is kind of your perspective on this can be looked at differently here. We don't have a massive damaging wind threat today, so this shouldn't be a problem. Now, obviously, if you have trees around you. If you had a damaging wind threat, obviously that would be a concern here. But what you would do in that situation, regardless if you have trees around you or not, you still want to get to that lowest part. And even then, in that situation, you want to bring a mattress. You want to bring something to protect your head even more in that particular situation. Like I said, today is more of a tornado threat versus a damaging wind threat. So it shouldn't be a problem, but it just, like I said, that perspective can be looked at differently. Because obviously, if you take a hit from a tornado, you have a lot of trees around you, etc. But regardless, that would be more of a reason to have more like of a mattress or some sort of padding when you go into your safe place in that particular situation here. Okay, so what can we do to prepare if moving to a shelter is not possible? Sarah, that depends on where you are. If you are in a mobile home or trailer, you have time right now to figure out where to go. Fortunately for us here in Arkansas, with this being a daytime into the evening time type of an event, a lot of businesses will still be open. So if our team does an amazing job with getting the first alerts out and stuff like that, if there's a situation where you are in a mobile home or a trailer, like I said, I don't know your exact situation, but if you are in that situation, you want to find a gas station, you want to find a a grocery store, a restaurant, a more sturdy shelter. Like I said before, my folks that are business owners, this is where today I'm going to need you guys to work together here. I know, I used to work in a grocery business down in Elevator Butchers. I get the competition with trying not to work with somebody else, but this is a situation today. All of us are going to have to come as one as a community, opening those businesses up, letting people in, letting people seek shelter in your business and stuff like that. That's how it's going to be today. And like I said, the more that I'm looking outside right now, seeing the cloud breaks, the more I'm getting very concerned about the potential of seeing, I would dare say, a rather significant tornado outbreak, potentially violent tornado outbreak for our folks in eastern Arkansas here, okay? And also, Aaron has a great comment. We understand we have a lot of people that have storm anxiety. We do have a Discord channel strictly for that. Biggest thing, what I've learned is when you have anxiety, it's best to keep company around you. It really helps when you get to talk to somebody else about it instead of having to deal with it yourself. So feel free to join that community, guys. Keep each other company and stuff like that, and we'll go from there here. Okay, so SBC's update should be coming up here in just a little bit. We got Elijah. He's going to be our eyes in the sky today. He's coming up to the studio. He's going to be doing the post-storm stuff. In an unfortunate situation, if we do have damage, he will be going out, kind of surveying and all the other stuff. We do have Jamie that will be going out. I'm actually in communication with Jamie right now, kind of getting her set up for today. So, so the biggest thing is warm weather fuels storms. This is, like I said, at SkyCam right now, you're seeing all those cloud breaks, you're seeing the blue skies. That's something you do not want to see on a high-risk day. I was hoping and praying that we were going to wake up this morning to a lot of cloud cover, to a lot of heavy rainfall, to a lot of showers and thunderstorms. Unfortunately, that did not happen. We've had a lot of clearing. Your southerly winds have come up, your moisture's come up, your instability's through the roof. We're what we call a loaded gun situation when it comes to severe weather, and we're just waiting for the cap to break, and then when it does, that's where things will start to initiate across the board here, okay? So, huge breaks in the sky over Hot Springs right now. Yeah, same thing here in Little Rock. It's just, like I said, it's something I did not want to see today. I did not want to see cloud breaks or sunshine, but unfortunately, this is the situation that we've got at this point here, okay? So, let me see here. Yeah, so will cloud cover make a difference today? It's still cloudy outside northeastern Arkansas. That will change. Matter of fact, if you give me just a second, I had it pulled up over here for some reason. I'm not sure what happened. But I can go over to satellite imagery real quickly here. Yeah, that's about to change for you real quick up there in northeastern Arkansas. Bear me for just a bit, and we'll switch it over to the satellite imagery here. Give me just a second, and there we go. All right, so this is your satellite imagery here, guys. This is what you look for whenever you see cloud cover or stuff like that. Good amount of cloud breaks right now. Here, let me move this over to this. Good amount of cloud breaks right now across central and southern Arkansas. That activity is moving to the north and east here. It's getting this environment primed for severe weather as we move into this afternoon, into this evening here. Sunshine's coming out in Little Rock right now. We got some in Hot Springs, southern Arkansas. Had some cloud breaks up there in northeastern Arkansas as well. This will continue to be the situation as we move later into the day. And into this afternoon here. As a matter of fact, I think with it being 11 o'clock, I think we may be able to squeeze in a couple of hours of sunshine before things really start to pop off as we move into the afternoon hours here, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go back over the radar. It looks like that severe thunderstorm warning to a pause has been dropped. We are keeping an eye on these cells over here in western Arkansas, but right now looks like we're good. I'm going to go back over to our timing map. I'm going to leave this up. And like I said before, I'm going to stay on here until the 11:30 update from Storm Prudential Center. Going to break away, get some lunch, kind of get ready for the live stream that's going to be coming up later this afternoon. And we will be going from there here. Okay, so hang on. After the day one update. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. All right, sounds good. All right, sorry about that, guys. I was talking to Jamie, making sure she's set up and ready to go for today here, guys. Okay, so just kind of like I said before, we're just kind of chilling right now, waiting for the day one to come out, and we're gonna go from there. So, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna go over here, and we're gonna go from there. It looks like we have a new meso discussion out. This is going from North Arkansas and Southern Missouri. A zone of greater tornado potential. This came out a couple minutes ago. A zone of greater tornado potential may develop in North Arkansas and Southern Missouri over the next couple of hours. Let's see. So long as storms remain discrete, this region may see an increase in tornado activity, some strong over the next few hours. Looks like a graphic error occurs, so I can't pull the graphic up itself, but it's pretty much where that tornado watch is right now. I think I may be able to do that. Hang on. Let me do some on-demand stuff real quick here. Okay, so it's this area up here in northern Arkansas. I'll go back over to our radar over here. So it's this general area. That's what that mesoscale discussion was earlier on. And we have a new meso out here down here for northeast Texas and far southwest Arkansas. I will read up on that one, and I think that one is going to be, storm development possible along a front and prefrontal confluence. Let's see, issuance of a watch, maybe 40%. A strong tornado could be possible down there in southwest Arkansas. This is exactly what we mean, that, it doesn't matter where you are in the state today, you have that strong tornado potential no matter what. So you just hones in the point of making sure that you have a way to get to your safe place and know where to go and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, let me do this. I'm going to go back over to here so you guys kind of know what to do if there's a tornado warning for today here, guys. Okay, so like I said, right now, would it be in the next couple of minutes is the best time right now to ask any kind of questions that you may think of, and we will go from there here, okay? So let me see here. Also, thank you so much for the donation on YouTube. If you want your comment to pop up like this, just send a donation. How does a supercell form? So pretty much in this situation, like you just heard what I said, it's a prefrontal trough or confluence. Pretty much in this situation here, you'll get these storms that will develop here. This is a very tricky question because it depends on your pattern, it depends on your overall forcing and all that, but pretty much you'll get a storm that will develop. It's all by itself, and it will take on what's called a supercell structure. Pretty much and y'all are going to laugh in the comments about this. It's, who was the one? Richard Scott. He said this, I was watching his 2014 coverage. He covers out there in the southeast. What a supercell pretty much means in layman's terms, it's a Superman version of a thunderstorm. Pretty much, it is a thunderstorm that has pretty much matured. It's gone severe. It's producing hail. It's producing damaging winds, and it can produce a tornado, sometimes even strong, violent tornadoes here. So I think that's the best terminology I can make for a supercell here. Pretty much, it's a thunderstorm that has matured, that has gone severe, and it's producing, hail, damaging winds, and also that tornado threat here, guys. Okay, so let me see here. So thanks for the coverage. It is really great to have this input, and it means a lot to me, guys. If y'all, like I said before, if y'all are asking the questions right now, I'm getting to them as many as possible. What do you do if you don't have a basement? 90% of Arkansas, unless I know some homes have them, some homes don't. If you don't have a basement, it's not the end of the world. Where do you go? How is your house structured? Where is the middle part of your house? That could be a kid's room, it could be a bathroom, it could be a closet. And where's that middle part of your home? Where is the center part of your house? That's where you want to go. Regardless if you have a basement or a storm shelter or anything like that, you want to get that middle part. You want to put as many walls between yourself and the outside as physically possible here. So that's what you would do in a situation if you don't have a basement here, okay? So Emma, I'm going to go back over to timing. I had timing pulled up. I had it pulled up. There we go. Go back over for this is going to be hitting later on. This timing map, I would say, is working out pretty well right now. It's ongoing right now in Western Arkansas. It's going to go to about 5 o'clock, and then everybody else will start to kind of develop throughout the afternoon and into tonight. Eastern Arkansas, unfortunately, you get the short end of the stick, and you guys are going to be dealing with this throughout the overnight, late evening into the overnight hours here, okay? So let me double check this real quickly here. Okay, so I see, I've already saw that one. Okay, so I've already took care of that one. That storm has weakened. So I'm just going through here real quickly. And let's see here. Okay, sun's peeking through. There's that. Okay, all right, we're good. We're good and ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna see. Oh wow, that is. Oh boy, that's machine learning for today. So I'm curious to see if they're gonna actually expand that high risk further to the west. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna see what ends up happening. That's why we're kind of hanging tight here until 11:30 to see what Storm Prediction Center ends up doing with their risk here. Then, like I said, we can get some lunch, just kind of get things ready to go for potential coverage later on here. Okay, so speaking of the devil, we just got our day one risk area from the Storm Prediction Center here. So we're gonna find out if they expanded this or not. So we're gonna see. I just got the newest information here. Let's see here. I'm gonna read over real quickly here. Okay, there's a high risk severe weather. It's early tonight from Eastern Arkansas, lower Ohio Valley here. They really haven't, I don't think, changed too much, but let me look real quick. So that is the latest update to 1630. They did not expand the high risk. High risk pretty much remains where it is right now. Let me double check the tornado threat, your hail threat, your wind. Looks like your wind is hatched now. So they did not change anything with the high risk for today. Okay, so yeah, that's just the newest update. Let me go over here real quick. Okay, so this is going to be it. They did not change this whatsoever. Pretty much matches on to what we have right now. The high risk still remains in effect for much of Eastern Arkansas. It's just outside of Little Rock. There's been no change with this update from the Storm Prediction Center. So with that being said, Arkansas, what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to kind of get ourselves ready to go for coverage, get some folks in to our studio real quickly. We will have radar updates coming up as well. We do have a couple of severe storms over here in northwestern Arkansas, but as it stands right now, this is a time to prepare. You go over your safe spots, you go over where to go when there's a tornado warning. We are here, Arkansas. We're going to keep you updated. Do not worry about us not being here. We have taken precautions. We have multiple backups ready to go just in case something happens, but the studio that we're in, sponsored by FireTech and Arkansas Ankle Monitor, is gravy. We have underground power. We are set and ready to go and ready to give you guys coverage. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a burp for a second. We're ready to give you guys coverage later on this afternoon and into this evening here, okay? So what I would do, with it being 11:30, okay, if you're traveling right now, if you know you're going to be traveling this afternoon, have that mindset of, hey, there's a gas station over there, there's a grocery store over there, there's a restaurant. Have that mindset ready to go, know where to go when a tornado warning happens. We're going to be here. I will say this, our moderator team is answering as many questions as physically possible, but when it comes to tornado warning coverage, those questions will not be answered unless you are directly in the path of the tornado warning here, okay? So I just want to stress that real quickly here. What is my input on the level 5 extending into central Arkansas? If you want my honest opinion, Caleb, I think it's good to go right now. I think it's in a really good area. I think the high risk needs to stay where it is. I don't feel comfortable extending it further to the west. It just depends. Because we don't know what the storm mode is going to be when these storms develop out here in western Arkansas. Now, if we get 3 hours later on, there's supercells all over the place, then yeah, I would be like, this might need to get extended. But right now, I think we're good. We're going to keep an eye on the radar. We're going to have 24/7 coverage, by the way, on Roku, Fire TV, YouTube. We have Facebook up. I'm going to try to get a stream going on Discord as well while we have kind of a little bit of a down period. But other than that, guys, that is all I got for you guys right now. I love each and every single one of y'all for tuning in. We're going to have radar updates. Obviously, if a tornado warning happens, we will immediately come live and we will immediately give you guys coverage. I have John, our director of media. He's coming in from Jonesboro. He's going to be here in the studio within the next 20 to 30 minutes. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. So, like I said, let's come together as one Arkansas. No bickering, no fighting, none of that today, okay? This is about saving lives, and this is about keeping everybody safe here. And it's crucial that you know where to go and you know what to do when a tornado warning happens. I'm going to leave you guys off with this timing map. This will be posted on the page as soon as this live stream is over. And I'm also going to leave you guys off with this. Where to go, where a tornado warning, or if a tornado is on the ground, excuse me, I got tongue-tied. This is where you go. You don't go to the top floor. You don't take a look. You don't go to those exterior walls. You do not go outside. There's no place outside that is safe from a tornado. You want to get to the center, lowest part. If you got a basement, get it prepped right now. Stop what you're doing. Go ahead and get that basement ready to go. If you got a storm shelter, make sure it's cleaned out, ready to go. If you have, like I said, the center part of your home, it could be a kid's room, bathroom, make sure it's accessible and be ready to go here, guys. Okay, so that is all I got for you guys right now. I said 4 questions will be answered as much as physically possible, but I'm going to go get some lunch. I'm going to get relaxed for a little bit, get ready, get our team ready for what's going to be a very, 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 very active afternoon coming up for us here in Arkansas. Okay, so we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.